Are you an artist in a creative field and are not able to find work right now? My name is Howard Wimshurst. I've been a self-employed independent 2D animator for over 12 years, and let's just say animation is not well known for its job security at the best of times. Later in the video, I'll tell you about this course I've made, which is a crash course in the business of animation, and it's available on my website. But first thing you need to know is this work drought that artists and animators are finding themselves in is not just the animation industry, it's a bunch of industries. It's kind of everybody's problem, so don't think it's just you. If you're watching this video, you're probably struggling to find work, or perhaps you're watching this to prepare for a time in your future where maybe you will be struggling to find work. So my first bit of advice is let your network of friends and family know that you're looking for work. If you think about all the people you know, and then all of the people they know, that's a lot of people, and you're only 1 degree of separation removed. If you let your friends know, including your non-artistic friends, they might make a connection between your need and somebody else's need. People are naturally problem solvers. They get satisfaction in making these kind of connections. If you're embarrassed about telling them that you're looking for work, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's a fact of life that for the majority of us, work doesn't flow consistently. It's not because you rolled the dice wrong. Sometimes you can just roll the same number 10 times in a row. It's just how life is, and it's okay to ask for help, especially if asking for help is something as small as asking, hey, if you know anyone who needs animation work, can you put me in touch? My next tip, brainstorm with your friends. This is what I did, and in this video you're actually hearing some of the ideas that we came up with, and I was writing their ideas down when we were talking about this topic. So it is a very powerful thing just to have a few friends, maybe for coffee or for a meal, and bring this topic up and rack their brains for solutions. Okay, my next tip might expand your mind a little bit if you haven't thought this way before. Okay, let's say you're an animator like me. Your profession is not animation, it's actually larger than that. Your profession is in visual communication. Okay, so if you've been seeing yourself as an animator or an artist before that, expanding that to visual communication hopefully opens up the doors to some options and alternatives that you hadn't thought of before. Have you considered crafting things physically? One person I know, they're an animator. When work started to dry up, they went into tattoo art. That was their fallback option, that plan B. People love getting custom tattoos, and this artist has a unique art style that lends itself quite well to tattoo art. And so that's their alternative that they're currently pursuing right now. She's finding quite a lot of success. A lot of the people I talk to who are struggling to find work is because they're almost exclusively exploring options online only, in the online space. And the internet is very saturated right now. Everyone's on the internet and it's a crowded place. It's harder than ever to stand out among this crowd, and a lot of people online are very talented, and all of people's attention tends to get diverted towards these few people at the top. But the advantage of doing something in person, in the real world where you occupy a physical space, is that separates you from other artists. The fact that you could turn up to your local establishment, your local shop, and paint their sign for them, that's something the best illustrator in the world who lives over in China, they can't do that because physically they are not in the same local space as you. Creating physical goods, creating signage, these are things that you will become open to if you see yourself as a visual communicator and you understand that you are actually in the business of visual communication and you're not just in the business of animation. Giving yourself permission to expand your horizons and do more things and do things that are in person. These in-person things, you can actually charge a premium because of your location, because there are far fewer people in your local area who are able to provide those kind of services. Okay, so the other angle I want to approach this from is the angle of the customer. So there are lots of people out there who need artwork, but when is the time in their lives when they are prepared to spend money on something a little bit extra, not just the essentials of their life like food, running water, and electricity? When is a time in regular people's lives where they're prepared to spend a premium? It's major life events, things like christenings, birthdays, weddings, funerals, okay? This is what I'm getting at. So I want to draw your attention to these days in particular. How can you craft a service, an artist-led service around these particular things? I'm going to continue with my list. Parties, caricatures, wedding portraits, personalized products. Another idea for how you can get more ideas for what to provide to people is this idea of turning services into products and turning products into services. Teaching your skills to others in the classroom, teaching life drawing class, art therapy with kids and adults, helping them work through their trauma through art. These are things you might have never considered doing, but these are things that everyday people would be willing to pay good money for. As an independent animator, I always have a few dormant side hustles that are ready for me to stoke life back into if I run into a dry period of work. If you find yourself high and dry, maybe that's a sign to ramp up your side hustle. Now, if you think about a stereotypical side hustle, these are non-artistic things like driving Uber, meal delivery service, waiting tables, working behind the bar. There's nothing wrong with these options, and you should be exploring these options if you find yourself unemployed and out of work. And these are things that are local to you, therefore you have a chance of getting them because of where you live. But I think the closer the side hustle is to your ideal career, the better. So for this, I'm focusing more on artistic side hustles. Don't just go with one of these stereotypical side hustles because everyone's doing it. See if you can find one that aligns with the skill set that you want to be doing for the rest of your life. Or failing that, one that you would find fun. Or failing that, one that you would find easy. There are also these parallel disciplines that are creative in some kind of way that might not be using drawing skills. Perhaps you are good at playing a musical instrument, in which case maybe you should consider busking. I often talk about life events and constructing services around those life events because people are willing to pay more. Perhaps you have a good camera like me, in which case, why don't you consider setting up a wedding photography service? This is a major life event for people. They're prepared to spend extra money, and you can make good money as a wedding photographer. But think about the other life events. What about being a photographer on the hospital ward where babies are being born? Taking those professional level photographs of newborn babies with the parents' permission, being hired to do that, actually selling those photos to the parents. I heard that from a photography channel and I thought it was just an ingenious idea for a business. I want to give you another story. This was told by Errol Gleason, who teaches business to graphic design students and art students. He had a great story of a student who said she wasn't having much success with graphic design. And he said, "What do you like to do?" And she said, "Well, I love to paint horses." So he said, "Okay, tomorrow we're going to take the day off of learning and we're going to go to a stables and you're going to set up your painting station with your paints and your easel at the stables and you're going to just spend the day painting horses." But he took her to a spot where the horse owners would walk by and see her painting the horses. And just for that one day that she was painting, she got several commission requests from horse owners who were walking past, noticed that she was painting horses and were able to admire the lovely painting that she was making. They would start up a conversation with her and they would say, "Well, I have a horse. Could you paint me with my horse as a portrait commission?" Right? So she got loads of commission requests and that could be the start of a career, right? So I think this was really smart for two reasons. First of all, the customer base is horse owners, and typically horse owners have expendable income. So that's the first reason this is smart. The second reason is that she was doing her craft in a public place where she could be observed. Now that is always preferable to being in a private place where you aren't observed. Because I don't like to work outside with my animation workspace because I get a load of screen glare, the way I get around this is by recording my screen and uploading that on social media. But think about how you can work on your art in a place where you can be observed by the public, and that's going to open you up to lots of opportunities from these chance encounters. Another way to generate ideas is to combine more than one of your passions to find a niche. My sister-in-law is a professional dog photographer. She doesn't take pictures of humans, she only takes pictures of dogs. and her portfolio is full of dog pictures, very professionally taken dog pictures. And this is just a great occupation to have. It's memorable. She has dogs. She loves dogs. That's her second passion, and that's what she specializes in. So it's just a crossover of these two different passions in her life, which are dogs and photography. Nice and simple, but that really puts her in a special category of photography that is unlike these other photographers who maybe take portraits of people and it's harder to distinguish them, and therefore there's more competition. So for her, because she's found a niche where it's a crossover of two different passions that are usually separate, she has less competition within that niche and it's more specialized, which typically raises the price that she's able to ask for. And she also teaches how to train dogs to be in the right position to take photographs. So she's really found a great niche and she's doing very well. And I think that's an excellent example. Okay, another idea, turning services into products and turning products into services. I actually have a personal example of this. When I had a quiet period where there wasn't much work coming in for me, I finally took the opportunity to make the kind of product for animators that I wished existed, combining animation reference with timed life drawing sessions. And I did this with my wife, my partner, and we call it Motion Lab. And I believe it's the best way to practice animation. Whenever I want to keep my drawing skills fresh with a live drawing session, I'll use Motion Lab to make an animation. I post that animation online and I let people know, hey, by the way, I made this with the help of a great tool for animators. I'm even promoting Motion Lab right now, so I'm just giving you an example. And that's another tip I want to tell you. When you make something, when you make a product or a service that's really good, don't hide your light under a bush. Tell people about it. Keep them updated on your social media and in person. It's a really important part of business, and it's free to tell someone that you made something. I hate that people feel like they have to be humble about everything they make. I think that's really stupid. And if you want to be successful in business and you want commissions and opportunities to come your way, you have to ignore that social norm of humility and you have to promote your services. And this can be a difficult mental prison for you to break out of, but you have to do it. This culture of humility is terrible for animators' careers. It's terrible for artists' careers. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but it's important. Now, I want to talk here about savings. Do you have savings? If you do, maybe this work drought is a sign that you should work on your bucket list project. Most people, if you ask them, they have some kind of dream project that they have been putting off until a time where they feel like they're ready. If you're not getting work right now, maybe the time to make that project is right now with what you have right now. If you're not getting work, then time's going to go by where you're not getting paid. But that doesn't mean you can't be doing something productive within that time. And in fact, now that I look back on my career, when I'm working, I wish I had the freedom to work on my passion project. When I'm working on my passion project, I'm worried and guilty that I should be working. So just think about that. Are you seeing this work drought as a problem, or are you seeing it as an opportunity? Nowadays, I see it as an opportunity. And yes, part of that is because I have some savings, so I feel secure. I can understand that if you don't have any savings and you're at some kind of financial risk, then I understand why you would not see this as an opportunity. Yeah, I don't really know how to help you there. That's a tough one. But I can tell you that the precursor to having savings is living within your means. So during the good times when you're getting hired and you're making lots of money, if you live in a way where you're not spending everything you're making, that's going to really pay off later down the line when work dries up and you need a little nest egg of savings. For me, I usually have a film project idea that I would love to work on, but don't have the time. This year, there was a month where I didn't have a job lined up, and I leapt at that opportunity to create a film. It was just a 30-second film that I made in that month called Karen Was Right, and you can actually watch that here on YouTube, and it was very cathartic for me because it was just this crazy idea that I had while listening to a track, and I really enjoyed making it. And That was so rewarding. I didn't see that month as being a problem. I saw it as being an opportunity, and I think you can too. I understand that it's a bit difficult to enjoy yourself when you have the uncertainty where you don't know when the next work is gonna come in. I get that, but make the most of that time. Don't spend that whole time just wringing your hands or feeling depressed about your situation. Definitely make the most of it, because there are gonna be times in your career where you're swamped with work that's paying you, but you'll look out the window and you'll just wish that you had some free time to work on your own stuff. Now, if you don't have a passion project, like a bucket list project that you want to work on, an alternative to that is to join a challenge. Some examples of challenges are Huevember or Inktober. They're daily challenges that you engage in for a month, where you kind of given prompt ideas for what to draw during that time, or you could animate for Inktober or Huevember. And you don't have to join these challenges during a scheduled month. You can do them at any time. You could do Inktober in January, who cares, right? It's about you. It's about making something for your portfolio, working on a project. A daily commitment to draw or animate is a great challenge to take on. It will push you to learn, and for that month, your social media account will look amazing. For a lot of artists, the time that they were doing a challenge was the most productive time. And sometimes, despite the time pressure, they accidentally create their best work. I've seen it happen. During Inktober, they create the best drawing they've ever done. So this is a great option if you don't have any ideas for what to work on during a work drought. I recently did a challenge where I made a whole animated short film in just 24 hours. That was a very productive 24 hours, and it's because I took on this challenge. I believed in myself, but even if I didn't believe in myself, I thought, well, I want to test my abilities. Let's just go for it. Let's just try it out. And you can see that video. It's up on my channel, and I'll link it at the end of this video. So I want to get into more tips and tricks, but I realized that this video is already very long, and it would get extremely long if I went into all the tips and tricks I've accumulated over the years that can help animators like you. So I made an online course that teaches everything I know about the business of professional animation. It's everything I wish I was taught in art school. You can read more about it at animatorguild.com/turningpro. So guys, keep your head up. Don't worry, we're all in this together. So many people are struggling. Let's struggle together. Let's help each other. Don't be afraid to ask for help. This too shall pass. There's going to be difficult times as a professional animator, and there's going to be great times. Use the great times to prepare for the bad times. And during the bad times, just know that there are good times ahead for you. You have an amazing gift, and don't hesitate to share it with the world in all of its incarnations, all of the ways you can. You are special, and the sooner you realize that about yourself, the sooner you can tap into your own potential. Please don't hide your light under a bush. The world needs to see what you're able to create, and I look forward to seeing it as well. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.